Hi, this is the Mana Monk, and welcome to a new series that I am calling Deck Tech Zen. I've been playing Magic for the past 27 years, and one of the most peaceful things I find is building decks. It's therapeutic. It's one of my only vices. I'm an addict for Magic, like everybody else, I'm sure, who's out there watching these types of videos. But I really thoroughly enjoy putting a deck together. So I'm going to take my first shot at doing a deck tech here and bring out my Commander deck with Yorvo, Lord of Garenbrig. Mono green deck, pretty straightforward on that. When he enters the battlefield, you get 4+1/+1 counters on it. Whenever another green creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Yorvo. Then, if that creature's power is greater than Yorvo's, put another +1/+1 counter on it. You see where I'm going with this? It gets pretty big, pretty fast. So, what I'm going to do is run through what cards are in the deck and let me know what you think. Leave some comments down below. Like, click, subscribe, and just give me any general feedback. I'd appreciate it. In the meantime, let's just go on the journey of the deck and have some fun. I'm going to start with the land base. It's pretty simple. We've got 32 basic forest. And 1 Rokhori Tower. That's in there. You'll know why when I get further into the deck, but there's a lot of card draw that's in there, and I need to have that land available. Then we'll go ahead. I run 2 artifacts in my commander right now. I'm looking to add a third one, but I have Bow of Nylea. Basically, it's in there just to give Death Touch, a little deterrent for some of the attacks early on. Then it has the other options of doing damage, gaining life, or graveyard recursion. So the other one, artifact I have in here is Nyx Lotus. Obviously choosing green, and I add any amount with my devotion to green. So this can become pretty critical and allow me to get a lot of stuff out at one time. I'm going to go ahead and move into the creatures.
Grandson and granddad will bond.
Move on to the creature database next. And sorry about that. First up, obviously, Llanowar Elves. Tap 1, add green to your mana. His brother, Elvish Mystic. Llanowar Mentor allows me to discard a card, and as I'm drawing cards throughout this deck, I'm going to have cards that I'll be able to part with. But that'll allow me to generate more +1/1 Llanowar Elf Druids that also tap for green mana. And as I'm creating those tokens, I'm boosting Yorvo at the same time. Then we have Arbor Elf. Then we have, not quite mana, but I kind of count it as is. Seeker of the Skybreak. Untap target creature. Untap my Arbor Elf. Do it again. Leafkin Druid. Tap for 1 green. If I've got 4 more creatures, which I will, I can tap for 2. And we've got Azusa, Lost But Seeking. Wayward Sabertooth, because it's another Azusa. I also can't attack or block unless I have the City's Blessing, which I should have that without any problem. Then I have Karametra's Acolyte. Add an amount of green to your mana pool equal to your devotion to green. Well, that's going to help me put out a lot of stuff at once. Ashaya, the Soul of the Wild. I like this. It makes every creature a forest. They can tap for that in case I'm lose some lands through land destruction. It also is great when someone uses Cyclonic Rift because all your creatures are lands. Nyx Bloom Ancient, mana produces 3 times as much. I'm gonna butcher this name. Citizen Petitioner enters the battlefield. You gain life equal to your devotion to green. This deck gets targeted real quick. Life goes down. It's a good way to keep it boosted. Nihilile's Disciple enters the battlefield. You gain life equal to your devotion to green. Essence Warden. When a creature enters the battlefield, I gain a life. It's the green version of the Soul Sister. Now we're moving on into the token portion of the creatures. And again, every time a green creature comes into play, Yorvo gets a +1/+1 counter on him. So Wolfbriar Elemental. Hopefully I have enough mana that I can kick it and put out a number of 2/2 Wolf green tokens. Ant Queen. Giant Athethage. Scoot Swarm. I have a Brawl deck that I'm playing based around Yorvo and Scoot Swarm. Every time I'm playing it, if I get it out, it's just chaos. Tindershoot Dryad. Rampaging Balots. Again, we got Landfall Command, creating 4/4 Green Beast, boosting Yorvo. Good card. Deep Forest Hermit. Gotta get those squirrels out. Hornet Nest. Hornet Queen. Okay, now we're going to move into some other creatures that are put in here just because of what they do and what they can bring to it. And everyone's favorite, the original, Vorinclex, Voice of Hunger. Allows me to tap a land for extra mana and slows down my opponents from untapping their land. And then we've got Vorinclex, Monstrous Raider. Look at that, nice and shiny. Yeah, like that one. Pulled that at a pre-release, real happy about that. Basically, it doubles the amount of 1/1 counters that are put on. So, creature comes in, Yorvo gets 1. No, he gets 2. It also slows down your opponents by cutting theirs in half. Eternal Witness, some graveyard recursion. Molder Slug. Have the opponent sacrifice an artifact. Bellowing Tangleworm gives your all my green creatures Intimidate. That could be useful. Weatherseed Elf gives a target creature Forest Walk. Again, another useful way to get around. And then we've got, I love the artwork on this. That's nice. This is Barashi. If Barashi is put into the graveyard from play, remove him from the game. Shuffle all my creature cards from my graveyard into my library. Massive graveyard recursion. Brawn. As long as Brawn is in your graveyard and you control a force, which I will, all my creatures have Trample, which is essential as I'm building up Yorvo, because there's nothing worse than having a 15/15 blocked by a 1/1 and no damage getting any further. Nylea, God of the Hunt, because another way of giving my creatures Trample. Okay, this next portion we're going to move into is called card draw. Starting out with Beast Whisperer. Regal Behemoth. I love this card for 2 reasons. It lets me Whenever I tap a land for mana, and you're the Monarch, add an additional mana. Plus, it gives me Monarch. I love the Monarch, and as long as I'm attacking, which I'm going to do as much as possible, I get to draw a card again. Regal Force. And now we're going to move into the next section of just big beatdown creatures, which, depending on when I play him, Reverent Hunter enters the battlefield, put a number of +1/+1 counters on it, equal to the devotion to green. Carnage Tyrant, can't be countered, has trample and hexproof. Galia Primal Hunger, everyone's favorite scoop mob. Again, not going to be hard to have 5 or more lands, so going to be putting those 4/+1 counters on every upkeep, and if Vorinclex is out, that's 8. Thunderfoot Baloth has Lieutenant, boost him up, again with Vorinclex, going to get bigger. Next one I have here is Yorvo Bees. It's 3 green for a 0/1 flying. I pay 1 green, and Yorvo Bees gets a +1/+1 until the end of turn. I pay 3 colorless in a green, sacrifice it, and it deals 2 damage to target player. Renata, Call to the Hunt. Power and toughness is equal to the devotion to green. Each other creature you control that enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. Combined with Vorinclex, gonna have a lot of fun with that one. And Loyal Guardian has Lieutenant at the beginning of combat on your turn. If you control the commander, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Fantastic as is, but if Vorinclex much as Hunger is out, it's gonna be huge. Diamond Knight has Vigilance, 3/1/1. As it comes in, choose your color, obviously going to be green. And whenever you cast a spell of the chosen color, put a +1/+1 color counter on the Diamond Knight. Nylea's Huntmaster enters the battlefield. Target creature gets a +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is your devotion to green. That's just going to get nasty as well. And then my last creature in the deck is the Pathbreaker Ibex. Whenever Pathbreaker Ibex attacks, creatures you control gain X+X until end of turn, where X is the greatest power among the creatures you control. And again, that's why trample is essential. Moving on to my enchantments. I'm playing Squirrel Nest, because why not have more squirrels? And again, they're green. Yorvo gets boosted. Bergering. Whenever an opponent plays a land, you may put a land from your land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Opponents are always going to be playing land, hopefully. Blanchwood Armor, enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets a +1/+1 for each forest you control. If I got a Shaya out, all my creatures are forest. Boom, really big. And then Garruk's Uprising. During my upkeep, as long as I have a creature with a power of 4 or greater, draw a card. But more importantly, is that trample. Yes, that's what we're really going after with that one. Moving along to instance. Pulled this one out from the Kamigawa set. Strength of Cedars. Target creature gets +X/+X until end of 10, where X is the number of lands you control. Spore Swarm. create 3 1/1 green sapling creature tokens. Again, all about boosting Yorvo up. Aspect of Hydra. Target creature gets +X until end of turn, where X is your devotion to green. Primal Billow. Add a +1/+1 for each forest you control. Rapid Vigor to regenerate creatures. Reclaim to put a target card from my graveyard back on the top of my library. And then Heroic Intervention on those times when you need to make them indestructible and hexproof. And then last, we move into the sorceries here in the deck. Playing Seasons Past. Wildest Dreams. Increasing Savagery to put some +1/+1 counters on it. Rishkar's Expertise. Draw a card equal to the greatest power of creatures you control. You may cast a card converted mana cost 5 or less from your hand without paying mana costs. The drawing card's the greatest power, that's why go back to Rakori Tower. Recollect, return target card from your graveyard to your hand. Overcome. Cultivate, early game, might need it. Hopefully, later game, it'll already be one of the cards that you use for discarding. And then Kodoma's Reach. And that is my Yorvo Commander Deck. I played it a few times. I've had a lot of fun with it. Had some ridiculously large-sized Llanowar Elves with it. Targeted very early, but very fun to play. I enjoyed it. And thank you for joining me. So leave some comments down in the below. Click and subscribe, and looking forward to your feedback on this deck tech, and I'll have another one coming out soon. So thank you very much.